We've arrived at that time of the year where movies start to get interesting, particularly of the horror variety. So I thought I'd go and see something intriguing. Let's dive into this latest game adaptation, Exit 8. It's horror cinema, but not as we know it. I've just seen Exit 8. This is a high-concept horror. Its story gives way to some twists and turns that not only make it interesting, but also make it amazing. The idea wraps all the way around you. I felt that every aspect of this film was all-encompassing. The sound, the sets, the atmosphere. It's also a mystery, a well-constructed mystery that each change, each nuanced movement or line speak so loudly. It is Japanese though, so it's got subtitles. And if you're not okay with subtitles, then I reckon you'll probably be okay with this, because there's not many things that people say, apart from the things that they're trying to remember the order of when they go towards Exit 8. If you can't read subtitles, if you can't watch and read at the same time, then you might be all right with this. All right then, it's a busy day, there's loads of people around, I'm sure they want this parking space, so let's travel back home and let's talk about Exit 8, because there's so much to talk about. And the other big thing about this, as I mentioned in the intro, it's based on a game. So let's dive into whether the game is anything like the movie, or if the movie is anything like the game, or if they share whatever and this kind of thing. Let's see how we get on. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Let's get home. Let's put our seatbelt on. So it was a choice, right? The choice was Exit 8 or Michael. And guess which one I picked? A couple of things then. I saw a movie the other week called Undertone, right? And I did a review on Undertone, which talked a lot about the sound, how the sound made the movie more interesting. It played a part in creating the atmosphere of the whole thing. I think Exit 8 is very much the same, but also different. Same genre, I guess. Horror. Horror is where we sit with Exit 8. Horror is where we sit with Undertone. But very different types of horror. Absolutely, completely different. And that's important because they're both scary in their own way, which is an amazing thing. From the second Exit 8 opens, it gets going with the loud noises that are grating. And they're not even scary noises, they're just natural noises. Noises from infants, crying babies, or a crying baby. But, you know, you're instantly thrown into this situation, which we've all probably been in ourselves. It makes us feel a little bit like, yeah, maybe I would do the same thing. Would I? I shouldn't do the same thing, but maybe I would, I don't know. As I say, we're on the subway, right? That's where we are. We're on the Japanese subway in Tokyo, and that's where this movie begins, on the subway train. Our main character, our main guy, he's listening to his music, and a baby is crying. As I said before, the baby is extremely noisy because the baby is full on crying, full on. A guy is very annoyed by that and starts shouting at the mother and the baby, and it's all quite horrible actually. And our guy is just kind of standing there. He's not really doing anything about it. He's just standing there trying to pretend that it's not happening, like pretty much everybody else on the train is trying to do. And this guy is really being horrible to the mother, you know, this young mother who's just like got a really small baby. You know, you can't stop the baby crying. It's not what you can do, right? Babies don't work like that. We as an audience are already in a sort of awkward situation. And it's at this point I'm like, I don't know where this is going to go then. I'm not sure what this is going to be, but you do soon find out, because at the next stop, the doors open and he kind of runs off the train, because I think the anxiety that he feels because of that really horrible confrontation that he ignores, he runs away from the situation. And I suppose that's all you need to know about our lead character. It sort of introduces him without him really saying very much at all. So on his way up the corridor in the subway station, he receives a phone call from, well, what we assume is his girlfriend. She says to him, you know, I'm at the clinic, I'm going to try and find out if I'm pregnant. She thinks she is, he thinks she is, and I guess this kind of triggers something in his mind, which is like, shit, you know, if I can't even sort of stop a confrontation that involves a tiny little innocent baby, then how the hell am I going to handle being a father? He ignores her call at first, and then eventually, whilst he's walking up one particular corridor, he answers the call, and he has a sort of conversation with her, and we realise that, yeah, she is, in fact, probably going to have a baby. Just from his mannerisms and the way that he's doing stuff, I don't think he wants that. We learn a lot about the character, him and his girlfriend, in fact, just through some very simple dialogue between them both. Really, really great. But these corridors, right? These corridors in this subway station are extremely long and extremely windy and extremely samey. They become very samey, in fact. In fact, they become so samey, they become the same. That's when the concept, right, the idea of this film gets into full swing. When we're in those corridors, when that corridor becomes the same corridor. To get out, he needs to find exit 8. It's a puzzle, it's a maze, it's a game. It's a mystery to us and it's a mystery to our lead character. Basically, the premise of the story is that he's trying to get out of the subway to go and meet his girlfriend. That's the idea, right? He's not sure whether he's going to go meet her or whether he's just going to forget the whole thing. The news that he's received about the pregnancy is so scary to him that he's not sure what he's going to do. He doesn't know whether he's going to meet her or whether he's just going to ditch the whole thing and run away. The horror side of this comes from the repetitiveness of it, being stuck in that corridor, of seeing man, of counting the posters, of counting the vents, of counting the doors, of seeing every single aspect, making sure everything's there that should be there in that little maze of corridors that he's in, that he's trying to escape from, that he can't escape from, that he wants to escape from. And we see man, right? Man is also important. Man is also important. A, he's scary, right? I mean, what the fuck is he doing there for a start off? Why is he there? What's happening? Why is he ignoring him? What is the point of this? Each time we see man, because of a significant thing that happens with man in one of the corridor events, we're on edge a little bit every time we see man from then on. It's pretty exciting the way that they do that. It's so simple though, that's the thing. This is really simple, high concept, but very simple. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's great, this. We've got to do a few things here. This is based on a computer game, and I have not played said game, but I'm pretty sure that when I get home, I'm going to watch somebody play it, because I want to see what the deal is now I've seen the film with the game, because I can see how this would be a really interesting game on a console. Now, you don't need to know anything about the game to grasp and enjoy what's going on in the movie. You absolutely don't need to know. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You can go in completely cold like I did and get every piece of the puzzle of this movie perfectly fine. It's directed by Genki Kamamura. Did I get that right? Did I say that right? And you know, crucially, right, it's only 95 minutes long. It does not outstay its welcome. It's nice and compact and nice and interesting all at the same time. And you know, it's always an exciting thing to talk about a film that isn't American and isn't English and isn't from this part of the world. It's always a great thing to talk about foreign movies. To me, this is a foreign movie because it's a Japanese film. Now, Japanese cinema is littered with absolute masterpieces. I mean, they're everywhere. And I don't just mean the big ones that we all know and love, Kurosawa and those kind of things. Modern Japanese cinema also features some incredible movies, because the Japanese society, although it's obviously changing a little bit compared to its traditional roots, it still does have that quiet, unassuming thing about it. I suppose the point of respect is still very valid in Japan, in the Japanese culture. And I think some of the Japanese horror films, they are completely opposite to that. They're absolutely nuts, absolutely insane. There's plenty of titles from Japanese horror that would make you throw up, right? These ones. All significant films and all nuts, completely nuts. When Amazon Prime first started, whenever the hell that was, they used to have all of these crazy Japanese horror films on there. And I remember spending weekends sitting there watching these nutcase movies that I'd never seen anything like it before. I'd never seen anything like the zaniness of Japanese horror. In some cases, it's absolutely shocking. And in some cases, it's absolutely like, excuse me, what? I mean, one day I'll do a video about Japanese horror and I'll pick some of the craziest Japanese horror films that I've ever seen. And my God, there are loads. Honestly, right, if you're a fan of horror movies and you've not experienced Japanese horror, it's like another world, it's like another universe of scary, crazy stuff. And it's great. And you know, Exit 8 has a tiny, tiny bit of that. It's got a tiny bit of that zany, what the fuck did I just see about it? So there are bits of that as well. Not many, but they're there. And you go, wow. And the way it's done as well, right? The way the craziest part of this film is done, again, involving a baby crying, but not a baby. It's fine. You need to see it to understand. It's a cacophony of noise and darkness and sporadic shots of what the hell is going on. You see bits and you go, what did I just see? What is this? What the fuck? It is a jumpy what the fuck moment as well. There aren't many jumpy what the fuck moments in this, but that certainly is. And it's like, what was that? What was that? Was that a... I mean, I've got to recommend it. I do. I have to recommend this film. I've got to recommend it to you guys because it's more proof that cinema is still exciting. Cinema has still got something to offer to people that want to see pieces of art, because this is art, right? This is high concept art on screen. And you know it's based on a computer game. And that's the amazing thing about this. What a fucking great idea this is. What a brilliant idea this movie is. Now that I've mentioned the game, right? Now that I've spoken about said thing, I'm going to go home, right? I'm going to watch and learn a bit more about the game, Exit 8. I'm going to be back here talking about the film and the game and how they sort of relate to each other. Also about the rest of this film, which is so great. I mean, what a fab film this is. It's the next day. It is most definitely the next day. And I've had some time to dissect some more things about Exit 8, particularly the game. The game is where this originated from. It's where it began. I watched some guy talk about it and go through the different levels and things that you do. Again, that the film is based on. The interesting thing is, the game is, well, it's really simple. It's a really simple concept and a really simple premise. If you're playing the game, then, you know, you get to experience trauma, the emotion, the excitement, all of those things that you can experience when playing a computer game very quietly, walking up and down a corridor and trying to figure out what's changed, what is different. Again, exactly like the movie, just like the film. So the film has definitely got the atmosphere of the game. It certainly looks like the game. I mean, that corridor and the sets within the Exit 8 universe are exactly the same as the game. It looks exactly the same, which is amazing. Having observed somebody play the game and also having watched the movie, I think that they both feel the same. They both got that impending sense of dread about them. And the movie and the game do that really well. They have that feeling of helplessness, of what the hell, of I'm doomed. That's how it feels. The staircase, right? That's one of the things that you see in both the game and the film. And I was trying to work out what the significance of the staircase was, because even if you've not got to Exit 8, then you might see randomly at some point the way out. The staircase that leads up into the street, into Tokyo, and into freedom. I was trying to work out what that means, what the significance of that is. That specific element is there as a metaphor for giving up, for quitting, for not getting over what it is that you need to get over, or not learning what you need to learn. Because that's one of the messages of the film, not necessarily the game, is about overcoming whatever issue you've got. And I think the staircase, certainly in the film, is that giving up idea. You know, that sort of, well, there's nothing I can do about this. I can't do anything about it. I'm just going to go. There's the way out. Time to go. It's just an easy way out, and it's there. And as I say, it's in both the game and the movie. If you play the game, then you will find it fascinating and you will find it frustrating, kind of like the movie. I think the essence of the game is in the movie, most definitely. The game is way, way, way more simple than the movie is. The way that they give the idea of Exit 8 a narrative is brilliant. It really is. It's interesting and it's got plenty of meaning in there. And that's a good thing, right? It's been thought about. Obviously, you know, you can't have a film where someone's just wandering up and down a corridor for, you know, an hour and a half. That's just going to be like, what is this? They don't do that. They build a narrative around that idea, and it works perfectly. And the bits that do borrow from the game also are jumpy and scary and crazy, kind of like the bits in the game that are crazy. It's normally dark when I'm driving around these places. These are exactly the same places that I drive around when I finish a review. And you can see the fields and the glorious trees and everything else that's going on. How great is that? Welcome to springtime in the UK. It's very green and it smells like cows. Let's talk about who's in Exit 8. This should be fun because I am bad with names, very bad with names. And here we have the ultimate challenge of reading names out. So let's start off with the Lost Man. This is what he looks like. And he's played by, okay, okay, deep breath. Kazunami Ninomiya. I think that's right. So he's the Lost Man, and he is, well, he's our main character. He doesn't have a name, not in the film. I guess he's just called the Lost Man. But he's our central character, and he's the one we follow throughout the entire movie. He's the one who has to find his way out of this liminal space. The Walking Man, he's the guy you'll have seen in the trailers, aside from the main character. He just loops around and literally walks past, comes back around again, walks past our lead character, comes back round again, walks past our lead character. He is a main feature in the game, but also a main feature in the movie. And there's a section in this film, well, we see a bit more about his story, just a bit, and it's really great. He's played by Yamato Kochi. And I've seen some behind the scenes stuff, right? Which is basically, he does the walkie-roundy thing, he leaves the set, and then he runs around to the other side of the set to start all over again, because a lot of this stuff is done in one shot. And obviously, you know, he walks past them and then he goes back again and blah, blah, blah. It's brilliant the way they do that. In fact, this movie was filmed on just one big set. It's all practical, nothing computer generated in terms of the sets and all of that kind of thing. It's all real, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's crafted. It's beautifully crafted, this film. We've also got a character called The Boy. He's played by Naru Asanuma. And, you know, he's the unexpected character in this film. He's not what I expected to see, and it's great. He's another anchor into this film that is an addition from, you know, the game, basically, which doesn't have any of these characters in apart from the Walkie Man. And we got the high school girl as well. She also appears in a kind of alternate version of the story during the film, so I'm not going to give much away about that, but she also kind of takes on the role of the Walking Man, but she's the schoolgirl, basically. And she's played by Katoni Hanase. That's it for characters, apart from the last one, who is titled The Woman. She is the Lost Man's girlfriend, partner, whatever you want to call her, and she's the one who we have that sort of telephone conversation with at the beginning, who is pregnant. She's played by Nana Komatsu. And I think all the characters in this film, as little as there is, are all really important to the story, really important to keep that idea flowing, that idea of the Exit 8 thing. It rolls along perfectly when we're introduced to these characters, and all of them are amazing. They're all played perfectly, and some of them are a little scary too, I'll be honest. Okay, so some people have mentioned that the characters in this film are in some sort of purgatory. They're in some sort of hell. If you look at it in that particular way, then I think that makes absolute sense. I think that you could read it that way, absolutely. But I think it's more about being trapped emotionally. I think it's a bit more simple than that. I don't think it's got that big theme. Our lead character, the Lost Man, I think that he's stuck in his mindset. I think he doesn't know what to do. And I think the Exit 8 thing is representative of how's he going to deal with this situation? How's he going to get out of this situation? What's he going to do about it? Because he's going to have to do something about it, or he's just going to be stuck forever in this place. He's never going to escape. And I suppose in a way, talking about it, maybe that is a kind of purgatory. Maybe that makes sense. But you know, this movie is good enough for you to be able to read themes like that into it, for you to be able to grasp hold of these big ideas and apply them to the film. And it's great when films are like that. It's great when there's more that you can read into something other than just big explosions, people swearing, and someone having a fight. Okay, so let's sum up Exit 8. Exit 8 was a fantastic experience at the cinema. It's an experience that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did. I didn't know what to expect, to be fair. I didn't know how this was going to play out, or what it was going to mean, or how it was going to feel as a movie. But it really impressed me. Exit 8 really meant something. And I loved looking at it and trying to figure out, along with the main character, how to get out of this situation. How's he going to get out of it, and how are we going to get out of it? It's just an excellent piece of filmmaking. I would say it's more a piece of art than just a piece of film. I'd say that this works on many levels. You could just look at it and go, well, okay, fine, fair enough. But you can also read so much into it if you want to. And it's entertaining. It's really entertaining. This strips it all back. This takes it apart. And this just shows you the fundamental pieces of a story, the fundamental pieces of a movie, the fundamental pieces of art. And yet, in some places, it's pretty scary too. So thank you for watching. This is the Film Podcast. That was my review of Exit 8. I do recommend this movie. Really good stuff. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again next time.